da 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 da.
Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to the Totally Awesome Podcast, the TAP, the worst podcast you ever heard. It's so bad, it might just make you tap out. My name is JoshAgeddon, your host as always, and gosh diddly dang darn, I've got way too much to talk about, because WWE and AEW, they gosh dang decided to do it to me again. This is not the first time that this has happened, but I would like for it to be the last, because holy shit, there are so many things happening. In case you have been living under a rock, there were about 85 pay-per-views this past weekend. There was the NXT Great American Bash show on Saturday night's main event, AEW All In, and yesterday was WWE Evolution. Way too much shit. I get it. WWE was like, oh, let's oversaturate the market so we can fuck with AEW, and I'm always down with that. I'm always down with fucking with Tony Khan. But can we not? Can we never do this again? I can't remember what show it was last time when there was a WWE show and an AEW show like the same weekend, and it was just too much shit going on, and I'm like, too much wrestling. Too much of a good thing can kill you, because I was nearly driven to suicide. So, it's a very interesting open to this video. So, on this episode of TAP, I'm going to be reviewing both AEW All In and WWE Evolution. I did not watch the Great American Bash because I don't give a single solitary shit about NXT. And I will briefly touch on Saturday night's main event, and I'll start with that. But overall, a pretty fun weekend of wrestling, if not, for the fact that it was driving me insane. And it cost me a lot of sleep. And one of the shows, the AEW show went 6 hours. I mean, I get it, it's an AEW show, but holy shit. You do know some people have to sleep, right? No show that starts at 3 should be ending at 9 or 10. That's ridiculous. I don't care if it's your WrestleMania. You know what WWE did? They stopped having 6-day-long WrestleManias and just divided it into 2 nights. But anyway, so I'm going to briefly touch on Saturday night's main event, because 2 things did happen that I do want to touch on. I'm going to speed run talking about AEW All In, because there's so much to talk about, and I'm going to speed run talking about WWE Evolution, because I really don't feel like having this be a 3-hour-long podcast of just me talking, because I'm so tired. So much happened, so much wrestling, so much fucking with. There are other ways to fuck with Tony Khan, Triple H, and Nick Khan. There are other ways to do that other than torturing me. I'm just saying. I'm cool with you doing things to just mess with and just live rent-free in the mind of Tony Khan. Just not at my expense, please. So I'm going to start off with, and also, it's just me. There's no Skylar, there's no Sean. They both hate AEW, and neither of them really gave a shit at all about Evolution. Sean said he might watch Evolution, so he might do like a blurb or something on Court Martial Podcast about it, but I have no idea if he's actually going to do that or not. We shall see, but I watched All In and Evolution, and what I'm going to talk about Saturday night's main event. So I'm going to start with Saturday night's main event. I didn't watch the whole show because I didn't really care, and I was at work. But I did want to see the Goldberg versus Gunther match. But before that, Seth Rollins is hurt. And all I have to say about that is, Seth, this is the second time that you have done something to your knee off of that fucking lion salt. Last year, he wrestled Jinder Mahal for the World Heavyweight Championship, and he did that springboard off he did that. He was in the center of the apron and sprung off the ropes into a senton, almost a swanton, and then did a lion salt and messed up his knee. Well, he did the same thing to LA Knight and messed up his knee again. So Seth, it is time to retire that move. Seriously, this is twice now. Stop doing the lion salt. It's not doing well for your knees. And also, we kind of need your knees because you're, involved in one of the biggest storylines in the company. And you're Mr. Money in the Bank. Which, Game theory time, which they might have already decided what to do with it by the time, because I'm recording this on a Monday. I don't know if this video is going to be up tonight or on tomorrow, which will be a Tuesday, so this might be up after Monday Night Raw, where they might decide what they're going to do with Money in the Bank. What I would do, just give it to Braun Breaker. They might not, like, they might not tonight. At some point, I would just default to Braun Breaker. I love Seth Rollins, but now is a perfect opportunity to just shoot Braun Breaker to the moon. He's a 5-tool player. He has the look. He has the in-ring. He's good on the mic. He has that it factor. He's great. Just do it, WWE. And have Bronson Reed clap. Do the seal clap. Like, yay, Braun did something. Have him do that. So, yeah, get well soon, Seth. I hope it's not anything too serious to where it completely derails WWE's plans for SummerSlam. But stop doing that moonsault. It's like Cody with the Cody Cutter. You don't need the Cody Cutter. There's been a couple times where Cody has almost killed himself trying to do the Cody Cutter, and I'm just like, stop doing the Cody Cutter. Or Rhea Ripley with that damn headbutt, where she concussed herself or like broke her orbital socket doing a headbutt, and then she came back. The first thing she does is a headbutt. Wrestlers are not the smartest people. Just saying. But Seth, stop doing the moonsault. I know he's not going to. I know the first thing he's going to do when he comes back is do that stupid moonsault and fuck up his knee a third time. So stop doing the moonsault. I know you're not going to listen to me, but damn it, Colby, listen to me. So then we had, I didn't care about anything else happening on the show. Thank God Gunther retained the World Heavyweight Championship against Goldberg. And I saw the match in full, and it was fine. Some people were saying, wow, it was actually pretty good. I wouldn't go that far. Gunther did his damnedest. Dude, this year has been one test of Gunther after another. First, he had to carry fucking Jey Uso to something watchable. He's wrestled that man, 6 times? And has had to carry Jey Uso to a decent match 6 times? That man's back must be in pieces. Imagine how sore your back would be if you had to carry Jey Uso to 6 decent matches. And now he's having to carry Goldberg to a decent match. Man, I think Gunther has earned a free visit to the chiropractor. That is a lot of heavy lifting. That is a lot. You want to see a disaster? Give me Jey Uso versus Goldberg. that would be cancer. Anyone who watches that would just immediately get eye cancer. But Goldberg was fine. He did that leg hook spinebuster that he only ever does in video games. He did that in the match. Seriously, I've never, other than maybe once or twice, I've seen him do that move, and it's only in the video games, and it's only with his moveset. So I don't know why they gave him that move in the video games, but it's a cool move, so it's cool to see it. But Gunther won, thank God, and now hopefully Goldberg can retire. Now, and everyone's upset because Peacock, NBC, WWE, whatchamacallit, whoever, Bret Hart himself cut off Goldberg's retirement speech, which, honestly, controversial opinion. And notice how I said controversial opinion and not hot take, because people that say hot take are fucking stupid. It's a controversial opinion. Quit changing the way you say things to make it a shorter, dumber version of whatever you were already saying. Anyway, that's just me ranting. I don't give a shit about Goldberg. Honestly, get fucked. You don't deserve to have a retirement speech at this point. In my opinion, Goldberg has so fiercely squandered his legacy that he doesn't deserve a retirement speech. He's already in the Hall of Fame, I believe. So you had your speech there, and you've been a whiny little bitch for years wanting this stupid retirement match that no one wanted to see. Well, you got what you wanted. You got choked out again, which is the same way you lost to Roman Reigns in your previous match. So, what do you want, Goldberg? Who cares? It's kind of like the whole thing with The Undertaker, where The Undertaker was hanging on well past his expiration date. But The Undertaker finally got a clue and was like, you know what? Boneyard match with AJ Styles, and I'm done. You know what? That will be my last match. I'm good. I'm done. But no, Goldberg was like, let me come back and wrestle for a championship for no reason at all. Over and over and over and over again. So, and have god-awful match after god-awful match and almost murder Bobby Lashley that one time at SummerSlam and get hit in the leg by MVP's cane and then forget to sell the leg until 2 seconds later to where it looks super fake and awkward. Yeah, fuck Goldberg. I do not care that his retirement speech got cut short. Good. If we find out that Bret Hart was in the production truck and he did that, then that's just hilarious. It's a funny meme. I don't care. I don't feel sorry for the guy. I feel sorry for me. I feel sorry for Gunther. I feel sorry for people that, want to watch good pro wrestling and have to deal with Goldberg threatening to come back for a world title match every couple of years. And this better be it. This better be the end of Goldberg, or I'm going to be pissed. Because I'm sick and tired of him coming back for undeserved championship matches that just end up being either somewhat passable, like this match was, or just straight up dumpster fire garbage matches. So yeah, Goldberg, go away. You don't deserve a retirement speech, in my opinion. You squandered and did your absolute damnedest to ruin your legacy with this. Like, what was wrong with retiring after you lost to Brock Lesnar at WrestleMania 33? Nothing you have done has been better than that, or even in the same ballpark. Because that was fun. That was a good, fun car crash match. You redeemed the match that you and Brock had at WrestleMania 20. That should have been it, but now you had to get greedy and come back. Oh, and you also ruined The Fiend, so there's that. Because I'm a superhero, and I want my son to see me being a superhero. Fuck what's good for business. I'm a superhero, Goldberg. I'm still salty about that. But anyway, so enough about that. Thank God Gunther won, and I look forward to seeing... I swear to God, if Jey Uso wins this gauntlet match on Raw, I'm actually going to punch my TV. I'm so sick of Jey Uso. I'm so sick and tired. For one, WWE derailed the entire first half of the year by giving him a pointless Royal Rumble win, and then the most forgettable world title reign in human history. Just going to give a quick spoiler for later on in the year. When we do the Grapplies, my vote for worst male wrestler of the year is probably going to be Jey Uso because WWE wasted an entire half of a year on this fucking guy. And all that it required for it to be a success is for the dude to be good in the ring, which he's not. But anyway, now I'm just angry ranting. Why did I get so pissed all of a sudden? I start talking about Goldberg and Jey Uso, and now I'm pissed off. So yeah, fuck Jey Uso. CM Punk better win, or you know what, Braun Breaker, whoever. Like, I'll take anyone other than Jey Uso at this point. Also, fuck you, Rikishi. Your son literally won the Royal Rumble and a world title for no reason at all. Sure as hell wasn't because of his in-ring skills, and you're still whining and complaining. Shut the fuck up. So to the actual main shows that I'm going to be talking about. First, we're starting with AEW All In. I haven't reviewed an AEW show in a hot minute. Gonna be checking in on our drug-addled meth head cousin over here to see if he's still alive, if he's still got a pulse. I thought AEW All In was the best show AEW has done in a hot-ass minute. It was way too long. 6 hours is ridiculous, and that's not even including the pre-show, which I did not watch. I don't watch pre-shows. They should not be allowed to vote. But all in all, I thought it was a good show. It felt like a factory reset show. Because AEW is still struggling to get over the absolutely abysmal year that they had that was 2024. And this does feel kind of like, all right, we're trying. It feels like they're starting to kind of get their act together. Kind of. Still a lot of things I don't like. Still a lot of issues. But it feels like they're trying to get their shit together. And I can't complain too much about that. But I will go through the show. And again, I'm going to try to go through this quick because I'm just to count. Let's see. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. 16 matches I have to go through with both of these pay-per-views. AEW and WWE, you're killing me. Although I did skip one match, but we'll get to that. But yeah, overall, I thought AEW All In was a very good show. Not the best show I've ever seen, not the best AEW show they've ever done, but definitely the best one they've had in a while. And the best show they've done this year by a clear country mile. And this is probably, I don't know. This might be either the best All-In they've done or on par with the one they did in 2023, because that one was also pretty good. But I will say the first half of the show was very missable, and part of why is because of shit like this. We started off with a trios match for the stupid, useless, ridiculous, dumb AEW World Trios Championships. This is the trios titles should not exist. It is a stupid idea for a belt, and I'll say it every time I have to talk about it. We had the Ops, which is a stupid name for a tag team, which was Shibata, Powerhouse Hobbs, and Samoa Joe. By the way, Samoa Joe, I'm looking forward to Twisted Metal Season 2. The trailer looks badass. I'm excited. Calypso looks weird with no eyebrows, but I'm into it. I can't wait to see Twisted Metal Season 2. And it comes out at the end of the month, and I will do a TAP on it. Twisted Metal is my shit, ladies and gentlemen. So the Ops went up against the eventual winners of the worst Grapply for worst stable of the year, the Death Riders. Guarantee you that vote's going to be fucking unanimous. I can't wait till the Grapply's at the end of the year. It's going to be a very interesting show. Stay tuned. I tried to do a video of it last year, but my equipment was like, no, and it's on the Court Martial podcast. At the end of the year, we're going to try it again, and hopefully this time it'll work. So yeah, it was the Ops, which is a stupid name for a tag team, versus the Death Riders in a trios championship match. It was Claudio Castagnoli and Wheeler Yuta and Gabe Kidd. This was good. It did not go very long. It only went about 14 minutes, which for AEW, a trios match that didn't go 20 minutes is weird. I was like, who's booking this show? Is Tony Khan okay? Do we need to send the police over for a wellness check on Tony Khan? Because this match did not go 20 minutes. It was a fairly simple 6-man tag team match. I really like Gabe Kidd. He has the crazy eyes, and he just seems very sporadic and just like a wild man. I really like him. He had that awesome match with Kenny Omega at Wrestle Kingdom earlier this year. If you haven't seen it, go watch it. That match was fantastic. Powerhouse Hobbs looked good. Samoa Joe looked good. I hate Wheeler Yuta. He just does nothing for me. He's like a skinny little emo twink. I don't get it. Cesaro, which is what I'm going to call him because I'm sorry, Claudio Castagnoli is not as good of a name as Antonio Cesaro. Cesaro looked good. I loved when he did the giant swing. I believe he did the giant swing on Hobbs into the barricade. That looked devastating. I loved that. That was probably my favorite spot of the entire match. And the finish was Samoa Joe hitting Wheeler Yuta with the Muscle Buster, a spinning Muscle Buster, which I haven't seen him do a spinning Muscle Buster in a while. So that was good. So he pinned him with that. So that right there was the first time that the Death Riders lost on this show. Would not be the last. And also, if you hear a bunch of noise in the background, I have my washing machine going off. I'm washing some towels. And my dishwasher is washing dishes. So if you hear stuff in the background, I apologize. It's not going to be anywhere near as bad as that one podcast I did like a week ago where my dryer was exploding in the background for about 40 minutes. I apologize so much for that. And then they did a post-match angle where they where the Death Riders beat up the winners, and then they Pillmanized Joe's neck to like, oh, there's one less person that Hangman Adam Page can rely on in the main event now. Oh, what's he gonna do? So this was a decent opener. I didn't really care because I hate multi-man tag team matches, especially in AEW. I hate the AEW World Trios title. That should not be a thing. Way too many championships on this show, which is a problem that still has yet to be fixed. And apparently it's going to get worse because Tony Khan wants to add women's tag team titles. Don't do that. What is wrong with you? Why would you do that? But this was a good match, a good way to open the show, and it set up for a show-long story about the whole Team AEW versus the Young Bucks and the Death Riders, which for the most part was good. So yeah, I did enjoy the opening contest. I did not enjoy what followed, which was the men's casino gauntlet match for a future AEW World Championship match. Okay, I'm sick of this gimmick now. Tony Khan loves this match, and every time I see one, I like it less. This is probably my least favorite one I've seen because this one It literally was just, dude comes out and does 3 moves. Then the next dude comes out and does 3 moves. Then the next dude comes out and does 3 moves. Then the next dude, and on and on and on. And before you say, well, the Royal Rumble does the same thing, the difference is people get eliminated and leave the Royal Rumble. So it's not just the same people with just, it's just, at a point, you have less people. In this, you have the same people who just stay there and they just rotate. And there's a bunch of dead people selling on the outside, while entrant number 85 can do 3 moves before entrant number 85 bajillion and 94 can come out and do his 3 moves. It was just so repetitive. And it went on for 34 minutes. It was ridiculous. And another thing is, there was, like, outside of MJF, there was no star power in this match. And even then, MJF's star power is not what it once was. You know who was in this match? Mystico. The original Sin Cara. Who is still botching moves, by the way. In this match, he got to the top rope, fell off, jumped back on, and then did a dive. And even MVP, who was in commentary, was like, looks like Mystico had a little bit to drink before this match, which was funny. That was my favorite part of the match, MVP making fun of Mystico. The more things change, the more things stay the same. Sin Cara's still out here botching. In 2025, stick to Lucha. Stay away from American companies, dude. It's just not your forte. But yeah, the longer this went, the more bored I got, and the more repetitive it got. I got so drowsy watching this. Because there was no story, there was no rhyme or reason. It was just, dude comes out and does a couple moves. And then another dude comes out and does a couple moves. And it just on and on and on and on. And I was bored. So yeah, I officially want this concept to die. And then MJF won. Cool. MJF is going to get a title shot. Hopefully they won't absolutely squander it like they did with Christian Cage earlier this year with that awful main event at Dynasty this year, which that will probably come up a few times during the worst of Grapplies at the end of this year. See, I was not a big fan of the men's Casino Gauntlet match. Up next, this was a little sad because Adam Cole came out and relinquished the AEW TNT Championship and gave basically a possible farewell speech, and he was very emotional, and it sucks. I like Adam Cole, even though outside of the stuff with MJF, he's done basically nothing in AEW, nothing of note. But I hope Adam Cole is okay. I hope he heals up. I hope this isn't the end of his career. It was sad to see, and it was sad and heartwarming to see Roderick Strong and Kyle O'Reilly, to see the Undisputed Era, minus Bobby Fish, because I guess no one cares about Bobby Fish. So the Undisputed Era, or as they're calling themselves now, Paragon. Okay, when you say Paragon, I think Marvel Nemesis: Rise of the Imperfects. Okay, that's just the way my brain works. And if you don't know what Marvel Nemesis: Rise of the Imperfects is, you're disgusting, and you should be ashamed of yourself. Also, I apologize if I blew out your ears. But yeah, best well wishes to Adam Cole. I hope whatever injury or ailment he's dealing with, I hope that he gets over that as quickly as possible. So we had a fatal 4-way matchup to crown a new AEW TNT champion. It was Danny Garcia versus Sammy Guevara versus Kyle Fletcher versus Dustin Rhodes. This match was fine, but man, it was like pulling teeth to get the crowd to care about anything. And I think a huge reason as to why is because no one gives a shit about the AEW TNT Championship. This belt should have been merged with the Continental and International title. The TNT title no longer has a reason to exist. There's no reason for this championship to exist anymore. Dynamite isn't even on TNT anymore. It's on TBS. And while we're talking about it, can we get rid of the TBS championship as well? I am now at the point where I think naming a championship after the TV station that you're on is stupid. Especially when you're not... I get it. Collision is on TNT. But no one watches Collision. But anyway. I told you I had critiques and criticisms, even though I thought this was a much better show than normal. But this match... everyone in this match tried very hard. They worked well together. But the crowd just was asleep for this match. They sort of reacted to a couple things. But... It was really very much like pulling teeth to get a reaction in this match. The only thing they really reacted to was Dustin Rhodes getting the shock small package win because no one saw... Because everyone was like, oh, Kyle Fletcher's winning this. But no, Dustin Rhodes won the AEW TNT Championship, and that shocked everyone. It was a really good, feel-good moment where his family got in the ring and celebrated with him. Sammy Guevara celebrated with him, even though they're kind of teasing some dissent between them, I guess, a little bit. And also it is weird to me that Dustin Rhodes is a champion and Cody Rhodes is not. That is a little weird. It feels like the universe is a little out of whack. Dustin Rhodes has 3 championships, by the way. He's an ROH Trios champion, because yes, ROH is infected with that plague as well. ROH Tag Team champion, and now AEW TNT champion. And this is his first taste of AEW championship gold here in this company. So that was a feel-good moment. I still think that the TNT Championship is useless and should be merged with the unified title. Just one mid-card title. You don't need 2. You don't need 3. You don't need it. But it was cool to see Dustin Rhodes get this moment. Up next is where the show really started to pick up. The show started getting much better. We had Swerve Strickland and Will Ospreay versus the Young Bucks, where if the Young Bucks lose, they're no longer EVPs.
In storyline.
And if Will Ospreay and Swerve Strickland lose, then they won't be able to challenge for the world title for a year. I thought that this was very, very good. The first really good thing on the show. Even though... if you've seen a Young Bucks tag team match, you have seen this match. The Young Bucks do the same thing in every single tag match they've ever had. So, if you love that, you'll love this. If you hate that, you'll hate this. I'm mostly just indifferent to the Young Bucks. I think they're stupid human beings. But this was, they were fine in this match. Swerve and Will, on the other hand, they were rock stars in this match. They were the stars of this match. And honestly, I really liked the story that they worked, especially towards the beginning, because at the beginning, they just couldn't touch the Young Bucks, because the Young Bucks were such a well-oiled tag team machine, and Swerve and Will, they're 2 singles wrestlers. They really played up that angle of, they're 2 good singles wrestlers, but they're not a good tag team. And the Young Bucks were capitalizing on that. I loved that. That was some good psychology at the beginning of the match. And of course, as the match went on, they kind of went away from that, but they can't do that the entire match. Although they did do it a little bit because they had Will Ospreay accidentally give Swerve Strickland the hidden blade because one of the Bucks moved out of the way. So that was good. I thought that the storytelling was pretty good in this match, which, say what you want about the Young Bucks, when they want to, they can tell a decent story. Selling, they're not very good at, or they just outright refuse to. There was a sequence where there was a double Canadian Destroyer, which led to a double no-sell, which led to a house call kick and a hidden blade. I hated that, and the crowd loved it, which made me hate it more. So there was some of that shit, which I did not like. But other than that was the only that and. I really only have 2 complaints with this match. One, because I feel as far as length, it was the perfect length. Because especially considering how it tied into the overarching main story of the show, that tied into the Death Rider stuff and the important stipulations, this being 25 minutes was perfect. Because this was an important match. But my only 2 criticisms are, I did not like the Canadian Destroyer no-sell bullshit. I hate that. And I also, it's a Will Ospreay match and it's a Young Bucks match. They kicked out of so much bullshit finisher kick out after 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 finisher kick out. And I was like, oh my God. You could drop a nuclear warhead on these people and they'd still kick out at 2. It was ridiculous. The spot of the match, though. I can't remember which Young Buck that they did this to, but Will Ospreay had one of them up for Stormbreaker, and Swerve Strickland came off the top rope with the Swerve Stomp directly into the Stormbreaker. That was gorgeous, and it looked devastating. That was nice. And the Buck didn't kick out of it. The other Buck broke up the pinfall. So I'm glad they didn't kick out of that. But I do love that the finish was a simultaneous house call and hidden blade, which also looked devastating. So the Young Bucks lose, and they are no longer the EVPs.
In storyline.
So yeah, I thought this was very good. As far as the way it tied into the story with the Death Riders, I thought it worked very well. Your mileage may vary. If you don't like Young Bucks tag team matches, then you won't like this, because this was just more of that. Me, it's kind of hit or miss with me. I thought this was more of a hit than a miss. I'd have my criticisms, of course, but overall, I thought this was very good. Also, Swerve Strickland and Will Ospreay, they were fantastic in this match. Although, again, way too many finisher kickouts, but it's a Will Ospreay match. You have to do 15 finishing moves just to get a 2.5 count, so I'm not all that surprised. But yeah, that was the first really good thing on the show. Up next, we had the Women's Casino Gauntlet match for a future AEW Women's World Championship match in the future. I thought this was better than the Men's Gauntlet because they actually... There was a little bit of woman comes out, does a couple moves, and then the next woman comes out, and then the next woman, and then the next. But they spaced things out more, and they did more stuff where more people were involved. What annoyed me about the Men's Gauntlet is it just felt like, now these two are going to wrestle, and now these two. And it was just a constant string of 1v1s while everyone else is just selling on the outside. There was a little bit of that in this match. But there was more like, oh, it's now a triple threat. Oh, now it's a fatal 4-way. Now everyone's involved. It was different. And I legit thought this was better. Although there were a few clunky spots, which it's a match with a bunch of women in it. There's going to be clunky spots. There's my misogyny for the day, I guess. I should bring Andrew Tate on this podcast. But anyway. But yeah, I said this match was better than the men's one, so shut the fuck up. I'm not going to go through every single person that came out. For the most part, people looked okay, generally okay. There was no one truly horrendous in this match. There was a lot of, I don't know who this person is. I've never heard of this person before. Okay, I guess this is a person that exists. There was a lot of that. But I will say, I think they made the right move by having Athena win, who's like who has been the AEW the ROH Women's World Champion for like 800 years. So there's that. But she was the... Ow, I accidentally kneed my bed. That hurt. That's what I get for being a sexist, I guess. You mentioned Andrew Tate, you're going to accidentally Kinshasa your metal bed frame. But anyway. So Athena was the most over person in this match because they're in Texas. She's a Texas native. I liked the finish where Mina Shirakawa was trying to do the figure 4, but while she was trying to put whoever in the figure 4, from off screen, Athena came in with what she calls the O face. Glad she calls it that. Zarbon, get the fuck out of here, Zarbon. Yes, she calls her move the O face. Stop that. Get some help. Unbelievable. So she hit the O face. Stop that! Stop that! Enough! She hit the eclipse. That's what I'm going to call it. Jeez. Can we be mature? Please? Just a little maturity? Thank you. So she hit the O face and pinned Mina Shirakawa to win the match. And the crowd went wild for it. The crowd was more awake and alert for this than they were for the men's gauntlet. So this was fine. A little long. Wasn't 30 minutes like the previous one. It was about 27 minutes. But I thought it was all right. Up next was the thing I skipped because it was a Tony motherfucking Khan! We don't need a 3 or 4-way tag team match on every fucking show! What is wrong with you? I'm fine. But like, you don't know my pain. I was like, there's a trios match on the show. Fine, I guess I'll watch it as the opener. And then I was like, oh, there's a 3-way tag team match. I just threw my microphone in rage. So, alright, get back over here. Stay. It was a 3-way tag team match for the AEW World Tag Team titles between the Hurt Syndicate, which is Bobby Lashley and Shelton Benjamin, versus Jet Speed, Kevin Knight, and Speedball Mike Bailey, and the Patriarchy, easy for me to say, Christian Cage and Nick Wayne. And I skipped it! No! I'm not doing triple threat tag team matches. No. AEW loves, like, Tony Khan loves this match concept so much, and I hate it. I'm not watching these. I'm not watching these. Absolutely not. No chance. You could not pay me. I will pay you to let me not watch them. I will give away money if it means I get to avoid watching these matches. I'm so sick and... Why can't... We literally had a 2-team tag team match earlier on this show. And it was good. What we don't need...
Powering on.
I just started slamming my lightsaber angrily on the ground.
Powering down.
So I didn't watch this match. I skipped all the way to the finish where Christian accidentally bumped the FTR off the apron and then it got speared by Bobby. 1, 2, 3. Yay. And then we got the betrayal by Nick Wayne, who is the very definition of the term zoomoid. So then the Patriarchy is basically excommunicating Christian Cage. Then
I guess that means that Christian just needed to find a way to cope.
I hate that that's his name. I'm going to break my microphone at some point. So Edge is back, and they're teasing the reunion between him and Christian, and honestly, I don't really care. I don't care about... I wish Edge would just retire. I wish Christian would just retire, and I don't give a shit about FTR. Really don't care. So we're moving on. This whole thing, I wish I skipped all of it. I was curious, because I heard about how Edge came back, and I wanted to... What really was like, alright, was when his former best friend is about to die, so he's coming out on stage to save him. But first he has to pose and have his fireworks go off before he can save Christian. It was like when Jeff Hardy was trying to come to the ring to save Matt Hardy, but he had to dance first. Wrestling is stupid. So anyway, moving on to the first of... At this point, the show was fine. We've had one really good match and a lot of the last 3 matches really saved this show. Honestly, they really, really, really saved this show. This was a 4-match show, and I will not complain about a 4-match show. We started our actual 3 main events, quote unquote, with Timeless Toni Storm versus Mercedes Moné for the AEW Women's World Championship. And the only reason why I watched this match is because Mercedes lost. If Mercedes won this match, I would have skipped this match and I would have dealt with watching another fucking stupid triple threat tag team match. But Toni Storm won, so I decided to watch this match because I hate Mercedes Moné. This was very good. This is probably the best thing Mercedes has done in years and the best thing she's done in AEW, which a lot of people in my opinion, are very much overrating her run so far. Her run in AEW has been nothing short of a disaster, and some of her matches have been good, some of them have been okay, and the one with Britt Baker was dog shit. It's people saying, oh, like one of my favorite podcasters, Monster, he's like, oh, say what you want about her booking and her promos and the way she's been utilized, but her matches have been excellent.
Bro, what the fuck you smoking? Pass that shit. Because, no.
I don't agree. I don't agree at all. Mercedes Moné is so overrated, so tremendously overrated. But this was a very good match. Probably the best women's match they've had all year, although I really liked the no DQ Hollywood ending match that Toni Storm and Mariah May had a couple months ago before Mariah May morphed into Blake Monroe, which we'll get to her later. But this was very good. This felt more like a classic chess game between two skilled athletes. Well, one skilled athlete and Mercedes Moné. It was just back and forth. Them trying to out-wrestle each other. Things just not working. And them just unable to put the other one away. For the first time ever, Mercedes Moné hit the Moné Maker and it looked good. It actually looked pretty devastating. It looked like a finisher. Most of the time, it looks like complete and utter dog shit. But this time, it actually looked pretty convincing. I have one complaint about this match, and one complaint only. There was a spot or sequence where Toni Storm hit 3 consecutive back-to-back Storm Zero short pile drivers, and Mercedes kicked out. Bullshit. I know. Well, look at what company I'm talking about, Joshua. They don't know what restraint or common sense are. There's a reason why this is number 2, soon to be the number 3 wrestling company in the world if TNA continues to do what they're doing. But that annoyed me. But then she hit the avalanche top rope Storm Zero for the 1, 2, 3. If Mercedes would have kicked out of that, I would have turned the show off at that point. I would have just been unable to. I would have grabbed my lightsaber and impaled myself. But I'm actually very shocked that Toni Storm won this match. Toni Storm, say what you want about her gimmick. People are either, oh, Toni's gimmick is so good. She's so good as this character. It's the best thing in AEW's women's division, which is not saying a lot. Or Skylar Greenberg is like, Toni's gimmick is the worst thing I've ever seen. It's too corny. I hate it. I'm in the middle. I don't care. Kind of like with the Young Bucks. You either love them or you hate them. I'm indifferent. I'm indifferent to Toni's gimmick. But as a performer, Toni Storm is the best in-ring women's wrestler in AEW right now. She is the bright spot. She's the diamond in an overwhelming sea of rough. And if we end up getting Athena versus Toni Storm, that should be fun. That should be a fun match. I'm glad Mercedes lost because Mercedes sucks. But this was a very good match. This up to this point was by far the best thing on the show. Well, not by far. It was. I would say it's a little bit better than the tag team match with Will Ospreay and Swerve. But up next, we had my favorite thing on the show and the thing I was looking forward to most. We had AEW shockingly fixing one of its problems. Kind of. Because we had Kenny Omega, the international champion, versus Kazuchika Okada, the continental champion, to unify the belts to create the AEW Unified Championship, which is still a stupid name for the title. Just keep the if you need a new belt, just call that the international title. Whatever. The worst thing they could have done was call it the Intercontinental title, because then just that I would have just started laughing at them. Like, we're WWE light over here. We're diet WWE. But the match itself, it is the weakest match that these two have had against each other. Well, actually, I liked this more than their GW Climax match, because their GW Climax match was still very, very, very good, but it was the weakest of their quadrilogy. That first match they had at Wrestle Kingdom in 2017 was phenomenal. It was an amazing match. Their match at Dominion that was the time limit draw, that was even better. And their 2 out of 3 falls match that went over an hour, is one of the best matches I've ever seen. It is my second favorite match, and only like closely behind Kurt Angle versus Brock Lesnar in the Iron Man match on SmackDown. That's my all-time favorite match. But that Kenny Omega Okada 2 out of 3 falls match, that's a close number 2. This, I think, was better than their GW Climax match, but not as good as the other 3 matches, but which is still an insanely good match. These two have such great chemistry together. This is the best thing that Okada... A lot of people have been complaining that Okada just feels like he's coasting and doesn't care about whatever he's doing in AEW. Not tonight. No, he brought his A game in this match. These two were great. Kenny Omega is so good at selling his gut, because his thing is he barely survived diverticulitis, and now he's like, ooh, I have a body part to sell for the rest of my career. And he's really, really good at it. And Okada was really great just focusing on his midsection the entire match. I thought that this was great. The only thing I could have done without was Don Callis getting involved, the human penis that is Don Callis. There's a reason why Jim Cornette calls him Don Phallus, because he literally looks like a penis. I could have done without him getting involved constantly, but oh well. And these two just... I'm not going to go bit by bit, blow by blow, everything they did in this match. Go watch it. This was the best thing on the entire show. I love this match. I love both of these guys, especially Kenny Omega. I'm surprised that they had Okada win. I'm very surprised they had Okada win. But they did, and this opens up possibilities for like the potential matchup with... they've been teasing something with Okada and Takeshita. That would be a fun match. And maybe this was to get Okada to drop the unified belt to Takeshita, which I would be in favor of that, because Takeshita's great. And then we might get another match between Kenny Omega and Takeshita, which I would be fine. I would be cool with that, because they've had some bangers in the past. But yeah, this was the best thing on the entire show. Again, I'm trying to speed through some of these matches because I have so much. I still have an entire pay-per-view to talk about after this. So yeah, this was great. Best thing on the entire show. I love these two guys. Not as good as their classics in the past, but it was definitely a great matchup. I can see why Tony Khan has been wanting to book this match ever since he started AEW, and I'm glad he finally got to bust his load, because I busted a little bit while watching this match, so there's that. Then we have our main event, Jon Moxley with Thunder in the background. Jon Moxley defending the AEW World Championship briefcase against Hangman Adam Page in a Texas Death Match. Kind of like with the Bucks earlier, your mileage may vary in this match, because this was a gore fest. And if you don't like the outlaw, mud show, CZW type shit, then this ain't for you. I can tolerate it in small doses, and it's been a while since I've seen a match kind of like this. And again, it's been a while since I've really paid attention to AEW, so it didn't bother me as much, and I actually thought for what they did, it worked. There was, like 4 minutes into the match, Hangman was already stabbing Jon Moxley in the forehead with a fork, because these people have problems. They should see a therapist. And right there, I was like, we're 4 minutes in, and we're already forking each other in the face. So, ever been face forked? It's not fun. And I was like, oh boy, we're gonna see some sick shit. And this basically turned into their equivalent of Cody versus Roman at WrestleMania 40, except not anywhere near as good, because you didn't have as good a talent in this match as that match. But still, I mean, it was fine. Everything played out correctly, I guess. Although I will say Darby Allin's attempted interference was very wacky and goofy. They played a video of him on Mount Everest sending a message to Jon Moxley before they had him do a Sting entrance from the ceiling. And I was just like, so he recorded himself on top of Mount Everest talking to Jon Moxley. So he, like, how did this, kayfabe-wise, how did this work? Was he, like, up on the ceiling? It was like, now's the time. Hey, people in the truck, play my video for Jon Moxley. It was very wacky and goofy. It was a very WWE thing to do. Like, again, sports-based presentation. This is totally not diet WWE at all. So that was very goofy. And you could barely even tell that it was Darby Allin because he had, like, facial hair. It was weird. It was very weird. But we got to see Marina Shafir get a Death Valley driver through a table. That was pretty funny. And I will say Jon Moxley, the past several times I've seen him, it just feels like he does not give a shit. Like he never bumps, he never sells. It is like watching a train wreck whenever you watch him wrestle, because it just feels like he doesn't care. It felt like he cared in this match. He actually tried in this match, which is infuriating, because my problem with Jey Uso is he's not very good, but he's trying. Whereas Jon Moxley, he's not trying. He's actively going out of his way to not try. So when he goes and he actually tries, I'm just like, why can't you do this more often on a more consistent basis, Jon Moxley? There's a reason why you've been chasing off viewers like crazy. But we got the payoff with the whole Swerve and Hangman Adam Page story, handing him the chain, which was a thing that they brought up on Collision, which was actually a pretty good bit of storytelling, I will say, on Collision. You should have done it on Dynamite, not Collision, because, again, no one watches Collision. So we had basically a repeat. I do like that they did the same finish, because this is not the first Texas Death Match that Jon Moxley and Hangman Page have had. The previous one, he hung Jon Moxley with a chain, and Jon Moxley tapped out on his shoulder to end the match. And that's exactly how this match ended, so I liked that they did the same finish here, because it kept a theme. And then Hangman milked taking the championship out of the briefcase and holding it high. There was also a Bryan Danielson cameo. It was good to see Bryan Danielson. So that was cool to help fight off the Death Riders. So Hangman Page ends Jon Moxley's reign of terror. I would have preferred Will Ospreay taking the title off of Jon Moxley. Mostly because Hangman Adam Page is a doofus, and he's the reason why AEW is in the shit state that it's in right now, because he's the reason why CM Punk is not there anymore. And started that whole domino effect that basically made AEW look like a joke for years. And they're still struggling to recover from that. It's so bad that even Thunder is angry right now. Even Thunder Rosa was on this show. And she didn't win. That's why there's thunder outside right now. If you can even hear it right now. I can hear it. So I assume that means you can hear it. But I don't know if you can hear it or not. See, I'm not a big fan of Hangman Adam Page, but at least this Jon Moxley nightmare is over, and it did feel like a hard reset for AEW. Hopefully they can actually, continue to get their shit together. Just don't bring in women's tag team titles. You don't need to do that. You need less championships, not more. Calm down, Tony Khan. Put your dick back in your pants. This was a good show. The best show that AEW has had in a while. I'm going to give it a solid 7 out of 10. I still had a lot of problems. There were a lot of things I didn't like. Way too long. No show should go 6 hours. It's ridiculous. So yeah, I'm giving this show a solid 7 out of 10. I enjoyed this show. Now moving on to what I thought was the superior show. WWE Evolution. That's right. I thought WWE Evolution was a better show than All In. Fight me. How's that for misogyny? So yeah, even though the entire point of this show was Triple H and Nick Khan pointing and laughing at Tony Khan and going neener neener, I thought that they let these ladies go ham, and it was a great show. Although, again, I made this joke on the Court Martial podcast, and I made a similar joke about Tony Khan earlier, but I think we need to send the police over to do another wellness check on Triple H, because holy shit, we have a B show that has more than 5 matches. Is Triple H okay? Triple H, are you going to make it, bro? Has this year been getting to you? It's been a little rough. But yeah, 7 matches for a B show. Weird. Very strange. Are we sure Triple H booked this? We kicked things off with what I thought was... between this and the main event, and the Kenny Omega Okada match were the 3 best matches of the entire weekend, in my opinion. Followed, I guess, after that. The women really brought it this weekend, because Toni Storm and Mercedes Moné, that was also a fantastic match. The women brought it. For all the shit me, Sean, and Skylar talk about women's wrestling, justifiably so. Have you seen some of this shit? It's been rough. But for all the shit we talk about women's wrestling sometimes, the women brought it this weekend. Becky, Bayley, and Lyra for the Women's Intercontinental Championship was fantastic. Great match. Again, I'm not going to go blow for blow everything they did, but everything they did was great. Everyone was involved. They worked very well together. Of course, Becky and Bayley are veterans, and Lyra's very, very, very good. The finish of this match was absolutely phenomenal. Bayley hits her god-awful rose plant finish, but while she's trying to stack her up for the pin, Becky comes out of nowhere with a spinning backslide. I've never seen this before. A spinning backslide for the 1-2-3. Wade Barrett said it on commentary, the coolest pinning predicament I've ever seen. That was great. That was a great finish. I'm glad that Bayley was the one to eat the pin, and now Lyra hopefully will be the one to take the title off of Becky Lynch at SummerSlam. I'm looking forward to the final chapter of this rivalry at SummerSlam. This was a fantastic way to kick off the show. If there are matches you need to go out of your way to go see, go watch the last 3 matches of All In. Go watch that tag team match I was talking about. Go watch this triple threat match. Go watch the main event. And yeah, this just a good, like, both companies did a good job this weekend. Both companies did a good job. So yeah, the Intercontinental Championship match was very good. I like all 3 people involved, even though I feel like Bayley has lost a lot of steam. Bayley needed this match, because this is the best thing she's been a part of in a while. Up next, we had a match that was surprisingly good. Jacy Jayne defending the NXT Women's Championship against Jordynne Grace. There was a moment in this match where Jordynne Grace made my jaw drop. Jacy Jayne threw a kick that Jordynne blocked, and she moved it over her head and hooked Jacy's head and got a suplex out of it. The most insane, almost fisherman exploder suplex I've ever seen. There was some creative shit on this show. I rewound that suplex so many times. Jordynne Grace is fantastic. She's great. I can't wait for her to be on the main roster. But Jacy Jayne was very good in this match. She more than held up her end of the bargain in this matchup. And of course it led to Blake Monroe, who was totally not Mariah May, turning on Jordynne Grace, setting up for some stuff in the future. They're already turning Blake Monroe heel, which I approve of because Mariah May is a fantastic heel. She once slapped her own mother during a match, which was fucking hilarious. So yeah, this was a very good match. And real quick, if you're mad at me for just speeding through these matches, dude, I'm talking about 2 shows and about 15, 16 matches. I'm not doing a 2-hour, 3-hour podcast where I do in-depth analysis of everything. I'm just giving the cliff notes and moving on. If you want more in-depth analysis, then you start your own podcast and then go fuck yourself. And fuck Rikishi. So yeah, this was I was actually very surprised because it's not that I have a low opinion of Jacy Jayne. It's just I haven't seen all that much of her. I've seen a couple things. I saw that cage match that she had with Gigi Dolan, but other than that, I haven't really seen much of her. This is the first real good look I've gotten at Jacy Jayne, and she looked very good in this matchup. So yeah, this was another very good match. I was very pleasantly surprised by this matchup. Also, Jordynne Grace is amazing. That suplex nearly made me nut all over my television screen. Up next, we had another match that was surprisingly good. As much as I was bitching, moaning, and whining about the triple threat tag team match that I skipped, I actually watched this fatal 4-way tag team match mostly because the build-up made sense. It was the Judgment Day, Raquel Rodriguez and Roxanne Perez versus Charlotte Flair and Alexa Bliss, Sol Ruca and Zarya, and the Kabuki Warriors, Asuka and Kairi Sane, for fatal 4-way tag team match for the cursed WWE Women's Tag Team titles. It's a wonder everyone got out of this match without an injury. This was also very good, which surprised the hell out of me, because I thought this was going to be a disaster. But this was very good. There were Let's Go Charlotte chants. What fucked up universe have I fallen into? What alternate timeline have I stumbled into where we're getting Let's Go Charlotte chants? She better thank Alexa Bliss, and then thank her. See? Even the Thunder is angry. The Thunder is no! Charlotte Flair doesn't get positive reactions. What's happening here? Something in the ether has just gone awry, and I don't like it. But yeah, she better thank Alexa Bliss, because Alexa Bliss is trying her damnedest to save her on-screen reputation. But everyone in this match looked really good. Sol Ruca, I want to see more of, because she's so impressive. Like, I want to see her on the main roster. I think she's ready. I think she's very good. And Zarya looked pretty good as well. She's a good powerhouse. But of course, the Judgment Day were going to win this match because they're furthering the story with Roxanne Perez, basically encroaching on Liv Morgan's territory within the Judgment Day. And I'm looking forward to see. And honestly, that injury to Liv Morgan is honestly going to help the storyline along because it's giving them an excuse to replace Liv Morgan with Roxanne, which is just going to piss off Liv more. So it's all working out. But yeah, I thought this was pretty good. Up next, we had another pretty good match. Tiffany Stratton defending the WWE Women's Championship against Trish Stratus. This only went about 8 minutes, but this was perfectly timed. WWE, as far as time management, is so much better than AEW. It's ridiculous. So, yeah, during this match, they beat the tar out of each other. Like, this was really good, and there was this one part where Trish Stratus did a stratosphere from the apron, and the thud. This was a hard back bump that probably knocked the wind out of Tiffany Stratton. It was a hard landing. Not as hard of a landing as the finish, though. Tiffany Stratton murdered Trish Stratus with this prettiest moonsault ever. She landed right on her face. I don't know how Trish Stratus isn't dead. Holy shit. That was rough. That was gnarly. More like the ugliest moonsault ever. Holy shit. I don't know how she didn't cripple Trish Stratus with that, but these two put on a good match. It didn't go any longer than it needed to. The crowd was hot for Trish. Tiffany got some boos. Tiffany, like I'm at some point they're going to have to turn Tiffany Stratton heel. Although, okay, Mariah May or Blake Monroe, whatever you want to call her, we're gonna run into a problem where Tiffany and Blake Monroe basically they look identical. They look like the same person. They should be a tag team. Well, actually, no, I don't want them to get injured because if they go after the women's tag team titles, one of them's gonna get hurt and it's gonna be sad. But they look like the same person. Like legitimately, they look like the same person. Just an observation. Just an observation. Up next, we had a match that was surprisingly good. Although at this point, I shouldn't be that surprised. Jade Cargill versus Naomi in a no-holds-barred match with Bianca Belair as a special guest ref. This was pretty good. There were a few kind of sloppy moments, but this was much better than the last Jade match that I saw with her and Asuka at Night of Champions was not good. But this, I thought, was on par with, or at least maybe a teeny bit better than their WrestleMania match, which had no business being as good as it was. At a point, either Naomi broke her nose or got her nose busted open, so this match had a little bit of juice. Going from the absolute gore fest that was Jon Moxley and Adam Page to Jade Cargill and Naomi in a no-holds-barred match was kind of hilarious. I was like, oh, they're using kendo sticks and chairs and tables. Isn't that adorable? But yeah, they did beat the tar out of each other, though. There was one spot that I loved where Naomi drop-kicked Jade Cargill into the announce table, and the TV monitor that Jade landed on kind of exploded a little bit. I liked that, and it got a holy shit chants from the crowd. So I like that, and I love the finish with the Jaded off the top rope through the table. Although, can we stop with the Slim Jim logos on the tables, please? That looks fucking stupid. TKO, put your dick back in your pants. But yeah, Jade with the Jaded through the Jade with the Jaded through the table. Easy for me to say, apparently. That was brutal. That was great. I love that. So yeah, Jade needs more matches like this. I think it was honestly just the pairing with Asuka that did her no favors. They did not click at all. But Jade and Naomi click. They have good chemistry together. Up next, we had the worst thing I saw all weekend. This Battle Royal. This Battle Royal sucked. This was my least favorite thing on either show. Mostly because on like 4, 5, 6 different occasions, people were doing the Nikki Bella stripper dance. And every time they did it, I screamed the following phrase louder. This is why no one takes women's wrestling seriously. That stupid stripper dance was driving me crazy. And then Maxine Dupree and Natalya started doing the worm, and Zelina Vega eliminated Julia, and I wanted to kill myself. This sucked. I didn't like it. The only good thing about this was the finish. Stephanie Vaquer is amazing. She's super hot, and I hope that... I don't know. If Naomi is still Women's World Champion by Clash in Paris, I don't know who you have win that match. That's kind of an unpredictable match, because I think that would be too early to take the belt off Naomi, but I also don't think you should have Stephanie Vaquer losing in her first big title match. I don't know. I don't know. You do run the risk of pushing Stephanie Vaquer too fast. I don't know. It is intriguing. We shall see. We shall see. But I'm glad that Stephanie won. Stephanie deserved this win. I'm glad that Nikki Bella lost. I was right and you were wrong, Skylar. Eat that. Love you. But yeah, Stephanie Vaquer is amazing. This match sucked. Then we had our main event, which was an excellent match. Io Sky defending the Women's World Championship against Rhea Ripley. This was an all-out war. Rhea Ripley and Io Sky have tremendous chemistry. People that say Rhea Ripley is not a good wrestler are fucking dumb, and I don't want to hear it. If you don't think Rhea Ripley is a good wrestler, then you don't know what good wrestling is. So, and also Io Sky is amazing, even though her women's world title reign has been kind of forgettable because she has barely done anything since WrestleMania. But this was still a very good match. They just worked really well together. I loved the Razor's Edge, which looked brutal. The Razor's Edge into the deadlift sit-out powerbomb. I loved that. I love Io's crazy suicide dive to the outside. I loved Rhea Ripley mocking Io's pointing at her head while wiggling her noggin. I guess that's what you call it. I love it when Io Sky wiggles her noggin. I liked it when Rhea Ripley was making fun of that. I also, if you're going to do a ref bump, do it like this. The bump that Jessica Carr took was nasty. Although, critique, can we have a WWE main event that doesn't end up having a ref bump? This is every pay-per-view now. I'm over it. Like, we can't have an AEW thing. We can't have an AEW pay-per-view without various AEW-isms. Like, we can't have an AEW pay-per-view without a triple threat tag team match somewhere. We can't have a WWE pay-per-view event without a referee taking a bump in the main event. Can we stop? It's ridiculous at this point. But then Naomi, the shocker of the night, of the weekend. Well, Hangman winning and Tony winning were pretty shocking, but this was pretty shocking. Naomi cashed in Money in the Bank and won the Women's World Championship. I did not see that coming. We all were convinced that Naomi was going to cash in on Tiffany Stratton. No siree. No siree, ladies and gentlemen. Naomi is your new Women's World Champion, and she's going to be moving to Monday Night Raw, it seems. So, this opens up some interesting possibilities. And all in all, while there were 4 really good matches on All In, and about, I would say, 3 really good matches on Evolution, Evolution was not as long and was paced way better, and there was less shit that irritated the fuck out of me on this show. So I'm giving Evolution an 8 out of 10. The Battle Royal was the worst thing on either show, and I still have some critiques here and there, but this was a very good WWE pay-per-view, and All In was a very good show. Evolution was a very good show. A good weekend of wrestling, all around, all in all. Hats off to both AEW and WWE. Stop doing this. Stop having WWE. The next time AEW has a pay-per-view, don't have a pay-per-view on the same weekend just to mess with them, please. I can't take it anymore. I'm not going to do a double review again. Too much shit to talk about. But I'm looking forward to Monday Night Raw. I'm looking forward to what your opinions on this extravaganza week of wrestling. What did you think about everything that happened? Do you think this is the dawn of a new beginning for AEW where they're slowly removing their heads from their asses? Are you looking forward to SummerSlam? What are your thoughts on everything that I discussed? How much of a misogynist do you think I am? Sound off in the comments down below. Thank you guys so much for listening. Like, comment, subscribe, and all that fun stuff, and I'll see you guys next time. Good night, everybody.